Good morning and Happy New Year. It is Tuesday, January 2nd, 2024. It's just after 11 a.m. on the East Coast. And this is Rob Sin at CEO Technician on X, at Goldfinger on CEO.ca, and at Goldfinger Capital on YouTube. And we're just getting right into it here. First trading day of the new year with the Hercules Silver out with a big news release. That is disappointing investors so far this morning. This video is not intended to be a comprehensive, analysis of this morning's news and the Hercules copper porphyry system. This is my, first takeaways 2 hours after I first looked at the news here this morning. And I'm sure we'll have more analysis over the coming days and weeks, but I thought I'd make a quick video to give you, my initial takeaways from this morning's news. So we start with the news itself, and then I'll discuss technicals and sort of my thoughts on share price and so on and so forth. So the headline, Hercules Silver drills 161 meters of 0.45% copper, 148 parts per million molybdenum, and 4.4 grams per ton silver, including 79 meters of 0.53%, blah, 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 and 450 meters step out. So the headline hole is hole 2321. And the 0.53% grades are actually quite good for copper porphyry. The problem is they're lower than hole 2305 that was 185 meters of 0.84% copper. So it's a significant drop off, and it's also half of the width of that, enrichment zone that they hit in hole 2305. And then you look through, this is actually, they reported three holes, 2308, 2311, and partial results for 2321. There's still the bottom portion of 2321 still pending assays. 2321 was a 1,000 meter hole. So if we look at the three holes they reported, it's a significant drop off in grade at 0.32%, 0.3%, 0.45%. So you can understand the disappointment in the market. Market expectations got very overheated, very high expectations just as of the end of last week. And we're seeing the share price get punished as a result of that. So here's some of my key takeaways. The first one is grades are significantly lower than the hole 2305 that got everybody excited, including Barrick Gold and other major mining firms that made site visits to the Hercules property in Idaho. Hole 21 had the highest grades of the three reported this morning, including a nice zone, about 79 meters, grading 0.53% copper. So we look at, by the way, they posted all the core pics for all four deeper holes on the website. So take a look at those. And just notice just sort of the shading of some of this core. And you notice as we get down into here, you'll see a purple hue or a purple hinge to some of these, to some of this core. This is the bornite. Okay, this is the bornite. Very nice to see that bornite. And I mean, from my perspective, this looks great. 0.53% copper grades, not out of this world, but the core looks fantastic. But then obviously you keep going, the purple tinge or purple hue is gone now, and these are lower grade. So the bornite is clearly very key to the higher grades, to getting copper grades above 0.5%. Okay, so that's just my quick non-geo take on the drill core photos that they posted. all the deeper holes, so all four of them that have been reported, or sorry, three of them, because we don't have the deepest parts of 2321. So 2305, 2308, 2311 all ended in mineralization. Okay, so they're still getting copper grade at the end of these holes. So the system is not cut off at depth. And I think this next bullet point is the really key one. Grades are increasing to the west. So look at this slide from the news release this morning. This is hole 2308. This is hole 2305. Grades increasing to the west, east, west. Grades increasing to the west. And we can also see on this drill plan, here's 2305 and here's 2308. So the grades are increasing to the west. Yeah. So lowest grade here, 2311. Second highest grade here, 2321, drilled to the west. So it was a collared east of 2311, but it was drilled to the southwest. So yeah, I mean, just based upon this small sample size, grades are increasing to the west. And look at where hole 2326 was collared, way out west, a significant step out from 2305. I don't even, is it 400 meters or something? It's a very big step out. Okay. So assays are still pending for hole 2326. And another thing that I notice here is how long this hole looks to be. This is the deepest hole drilled to date. Okay. This looks like it's probably, if 2321 is 1,000 meters, I don't know. This is like 1,200. It's hard to say, but it's deep. It's longer. It's deeper than hole 2321. So it's a very deep hole. It's the deepest hole drilled to date. Here's that section showing grades increasing to the west, and then some key excerpts from today's news help to reveal that Hercules may be dealing with a much larger porphyry system with potentially the highest grades still untouched, undrilled. That they haven't hit the potassic core yet of this system. So there's a lot more that has to be drilled off here. But the comments about the 3D IP, the new large-scale 2023 survey, reveals that the 2022 anomaly represents just a fraction of a much larger system, which does not show any apparent fault bounds, potential for significant expansion. This is great. Okay, this is very exciting. And Hercules is working with Barrick's team to interpret the data in context with the 2023 drilling and generate the best possible drill targets for the next phase of drilling, obviously in 2024. And then they staked an additional 570 lode mining claims to the north of the Hercules property and securing a key extension of the new 3D IP anomaly. So, and here's just my comment on that. The 3D IP data shows the porphyry system trending to the north, and Hercules was able to snap up key extensions to their existing property package. If we look at the property map from the latest corporate presentation, we can see the northern boundary of the Hercules property is like 4 kilometers from the recent area, hole 2305. Yeah, I mean, look, here's the property boundary, right? Here's the area they've been playing around in, okay, over here. So that's a significant ways. And if they stake to the north of that, and they're saying the news release is saying that the 3D IP shows the porphyry system trending that way. Okay, significant scale. I mean, we need more details on this, but if they staked northern extensions of their existing property footprint, that's a very long ways from recent drilling in holes 2305 and 2321. Okay. Hole 2326 stands to be a very important one because it's the furthest west step out drilled to date, and it is also the deepest hole drilled to date. So there's a lot potentially riding on this hole 2326. And if we look here, yeah, it makes sense. So, if I'm putting myself in the shoes of Chris Paul and the Hercules team, here's my discovery hole. I'm drilling basically in a fence, and I discover that the highest grades are to the west. So what do? I drill this hole over here, the biggest step out to the west, drill back towards hole 2305 with a big step out to the west. And why did they take it so deep? Like, why is this such a deep hole when all the other holes are, um, 700 meters, 600 meters, or 1,000 meters? Why is this one so much deeper, right? So these questions remain to be answered. But I think 2326 is a very important hole. And obviously, if this is a duster, if this doesn't carry much grade, then that's going to be very, very bad for the share price, obviously. And if it hits grade like 2305, then we're back in business in a big way, right? But I think the most important thing to understand is that we're 4 holes into this new discovery. 4 deeper holes into the new discovery. That's very early. A porphyry system to be fully explored and understood is going to take well over 100 holes. In my opinion, I think it was going to require a lot of drilling in order to prove it out. And we're still in the infancy stages. I could see them drilling 25, 30, 35 holes in 2024, deeper holes. I don't know, who knows, maybe even more than that. They might be using 3 or 4 rigs throughout the entire season. Okay, we don't know yet. It's still early days, and obviously they need to plan out and decide all their targets with Barrick, and then they'll let the market know. But I think 2024 is going to have a significant larger amount of drilling than we saw in 2023, and we're still very, very early days. But the fact that the 3D IP is showing such a large trend of this system that there's room for so much more expansion, I think that is very, very promising. And the fact they added all these claims to the north, I think, is very important. So go west, go north. Yeah. So now in terms of the share price, so got down as low as 69 cents off the open today. That's exactly a 50% drop from last Friday's close. 50%. So literally $160 million sliced off the market cap in Canada. Got back down to about 155, 160 million market cap at the low here this morning. A little bounce back so far. We're back up to 82 cents. And this is something I sent to my subscribers. I said, I think this is the zone, this green shaded area. This is the zone it probably sits in until we get more information, until we get more data. I think 75 to 80 cents is quite reasonable. There is a lot of high expectations coming into this news. The news is disappointing, but by no means is this story over. By no means. Not even close to being over. Okay. And in fact, walking in today, so those who have been watching these videos for the last several months know that in this video, November 20th, I laid out why I exited my position above 150 a share. And then a few, maybe 3-4 videos later, I talked about how I bought it back down around $1.10, $1.11. These videos talking about Hercules starting in October, you can go through the whole series of them if you have the time and stomach for it, and I just lay out my thoughts, including how I was, quite confident that we were going to overshoot to the upside, and then we most likely set ourselves up for a big disappointment at some uh, day, week down the road, right? And now here we are. Here's the disappointment. I guess we overshot at 162 in November, and now we're getting a big shakeout to the downside, and maybe 69 cents is an overshoot back to the downside. I don't know. But anyway, I walked in holding a very small long position here this morning, just so I was participating, but much smaller than the initial stake I took back in October at 29 and 30 cents a share. And this morning I added to my position. So I doubled my position down at 72 cents. So I am along, but I have definitely plenty of room to increase my position over the coming days and weeks as the share price gyrates and new information and analysis becomes available. So let me give you the the good news, and then we can talk about the bad news. Uh, the good news is it looks like support around 70 to 75 cents is holding up, and this is a significant decline already, 50%, and actually from the high at 162 it's a lot more than 50%. Also, Barrick Gold put in $23 million at $1.10, and in fact they were buying on the open market in the 70s and 80-cent range back in October. So Barrick has proven with more than $30 million of cold hard cash that they see value at these levels or above these levels. Okay, so that's the good news. The bad news is, well, if the stock doesn't get back to at least 97 cents and continues to gyrate, let's say between 70 and 90 cents, you have the potential for what's called an island top. An island top. So let me just kind of just draw it. I don't think this is what's going to happen, but I want to just throw it out there as a possibility. Okay, it's a possibility. It's something that we should be aware of. Oops, I got too many. So here's the potential island top. And if we just continue to gyrate down here, this is still looking like a big, fat topping pattern. And you could absolutely make a case that this is a double top. Here's the first one. Here's the second one. $1.62, $1.61, penny away. That's a double top. All right. So it's an island top, double top. That's the bad news, guys. But it would be completely invalidated if Hercules got back above $1. Yeah. So there's two sides to the coin here. There's still plenty of risk. There's still plenty of room for disappointment if hold 26 isn't a good one. Still plenty of a potential downside here, and still plenty of potential, upside in the case that 26 is like hole 5, or who knows? It might even be better. I don't think we should be counting on that, but it's possible, right? There's just a lot we don't know. And I think that this is something that I've been consistent with in all these videos I've made speaking about Hercules. There's a lot more we don't know than we do know. This is a very compelling potential, discovery, potential copper porphyry, system that could be very large. It's very compelling. It's very interesting in the fact so many major mining companies are so interested, including I've heard through the grapevine that Rio Tinto has been staking quite a bit in this area as well. So clearly they're very interested as well. I think there's a lot more to this story. Let's just put it that way. There's a lot more to this story and a lot more drilling ahead of us in 2024. It will take a lot more drilling to prove the system out, especially if it is as big as the 3D IP seems to indicate. So anyway, those are my key takeaways from the news here this morning. Obviously, it is disappointing. Simply put, the grades are significantly lower than hole 2305. So of course, the market is going to be disappointed and sell off the stock. This is junior mining. That's how it goes. And that was the risk all along. And it was a risk that I laid out as well. Okay. And I think at $1.60 a share, it did get a little bit too far, ahead of itself based upon just one drill hole. But now we have a reset at 50% lower and new opportunities. All right, so that's all I got here this morning. I hope you have a powerful trading week, and thanks for watching.